Welcome back to the recap of Season 1 of Haikyuu. In Part 1 of the series, we saw how by combining Hinata's raw athleticism with Kageyama's precise setting, they develop an unpredictable freak quick attack that breathes new life into Karasuno's offense. Alongside dedicated upperclassmen, the unified team hones their skills through intense practice matches against old rivals, ultimately stepping into the Interhigh qualifiers ready to restore their former glory. So, let's begin. At Tokonami High, Ikejiri tells his team about the Interhigh Preliminary matchups. They find out they will play against Karasuno, known as the Fallen Rivals or Unflying Crows. Some of his teammates think Karasuno is weak and feel confident about winning. However, their captain reminds them not to underestimate anyone and to focus on training. Ikejiri tells Chaya that he knows someone on Karasuno. His friend joined the school after watching them play at Spring High on TV, and because it was close to home, he wonders how his friend is doing now. The scene shifts to Daichi at Karasuno. At Karasuno, the team is practicing hard for the Interhigh. Hinata makes a mistake and apologizes. Ukai tells everyone to treat each ball like it's the last one and to give their full effort. In a flashback, Ukai and Takeda explain that in this tournament, one loss means elimination. If they want another chance to face Nekoma, they must win. After practice, Tanaka shows the others a magazine featuring Ushijima, one of the top 3 high school players in the country and the top ace in Miyagi. Daichi comments that Ushijima looks like a true ace, and the team jokingly compares him to Asahi, who feels pressured. Ukai reminds them that Ushijima is not the only strong player. He lists strong schools like Wakatani Minami, Day Tech, Aoba Johsai, and Shiratorizawa. He tells them not to underestimate anyone and to focus forward. He also says it's time to move past their old flightless crows reputation. When Takeda brings the official bracket, they realize they might face Date Tech again if both win their first matches. They also see that Aoba Johsai is in their block, meaning they could meet them in the 3rd round. Daichi remembers talking with Ikejiri in junior high about going to different schools and possibly facing each other. Ikejiri is thinking about the same memory. As practice continues, players think about past losses. Asahi remembers being blocked by Date Tech and says he won't run away anymore. He wants to proudly call himself Karasuno's ace. Yamaguchi goes to Shimada and asks to learn the jump float serve. Even though he might not play, Adi doesn't want to sit out without improving. The day before Interhigh, Kyoko shows the team an old Karasuno banner. The team feels motivated and promises to win their first match. On the morning of the tournament, Hinata and Kageyama race to school. Hinata says he will defeat Kageyama one day, no matter how long it takes. The first day of Interhigh arrives. The third years meet on the way to school and walk together. Asahi starts to say something emotional, but Daichi and Sugawara stop him. They tell him there's no need for sentimental talk. They plan to win today and keep winning. At the stadium, teams and spectators gather in the assembly hall. Tokonami arrives and talks about Karasuno. They've heard Karasuno is no longer strong, so they feel confident. While looking at the lineup board, Ikejiri hears 2 students calling Karasuno the Fallen Rivals and saying they've declined. Right then, Karasuno lines up behind him. Tanaka overhears the comments and steps in to confront the students, trying to scare them. Daichi quickly pulls him away before things escalate. As Karasuno walks through the hall, other teams notice them. Asahi stands out because of his intimidating appearance, Kyoko draws attention for her looks, Nishinoya for his libero skills, and Kageyama for being known as a talented setter. Inside the gym, Karasuno runs into Date Tech. Aon suddenly points at Asahi without saying anything. This time, Asahi doesn't back away. Maniwa and Futakuchi step in and apologize, explaining that Aon tends to focus on the opponent's ace. They warn Asahi to be ready. Daichi is then approached by Ikejiri. Ikejiri says Daichi seems different and stronger than before. He admits Karasuno looks strong but reminds himself that rumors and appearances don't matter. Only winning does. Meanwhile, the Karasuno girls team prepares for their own match. Some members worry they won't win because they didn't practice enough. Michimiya tells them it's too late to think about that now. They just need to go out and do their best. Before the boys' match, Hinata feels very nervous. Kageyama worries, remembering how Hinata got overwhelmed in a past game. Sugawara teases Asahi for being scared, but Asahi says thinking about past tough experiences actually helps him stay calm. Hinata tries the same method and feels better. As Karasuno warms up, Aoba Johsai enters the gym. Their coach notices Karasuno and wonders how much they've improved. Soon, Karasuno's match against Tokonami begins. People are surprised to see Hinata playing as a middle blocker despite being shorter than others on the bench. Kageyama sets to Tanaka for the first point. Asahi scores the second. Then Kageyama sets to Hinata for a quick attack. Hinata jumps and spikes the ball before anyone can react, surprising everyone in the gym. Akagiri runs after the ball but can't reach it, and Karasuno scores their third point. In the stands, Aoba Johsai's coach notices that Karasuno has improved a lot since their last practice match. Before, they relied mostly on power. Now, with a coach, they also have better technique. Karasuno keeps scoring, and it starts to look like they will win easily. Tokonami doesn't give up, but their confidence drops. Ikejiri watches his teammates and feels unsure. He remembers a match from junior high when he and Daichi barely won their first game by luck. In the next round, they faced a strong team and expected to lose. Daichi told everyone that without determination, they would never improve. Even though they lost badly, Daichi was the only one who stayed upset and serious about it. Ikejiri had felt jealous of that mindset. Back in the present, Ikejiri runs for another ball and misses again. This time he looks more determined and calls for a toss. He gets blocked, and Karasuno wins the first set. During the timeout, Tokonami admits that Karasuno is nothing like the weak team from the rumors. Ikejiri repeats something Daichi used to say, surprising his teammates. Even after winning the first set, Karasuno keeps playing seriously. Kageyama scores 5 service aces in a row before Tokonami finally receives one. Tokonami celebrates that single point because it means they didn't give up. At the same time, the Karasuno girls team struggles in their own match. Their captain, Yui Michimiya, encourages her teammates to stay confident even after mistakes. In the end, Karasuno wins the match. Hinata stands quietly looking at his hands, happy that they can move on to the next round. Outside, some of the girls are crying after their loss. Yui stays calm for her team, even though she's hurting too. Ikejiri sits alone, thinking he should have trained harder. He then finds Daichi and asks him to win for Tokonami. Daichi agrees and shakes his hand. Later, Hinata hears other players praising him. Kageyama tells him that the attention is useful because it helps him act as a decoy for the team. Ukai agrees and talks about the next lineup. Before the next match, Kageyama tells Hinata that Date Tech was the team that once blocked Asahi so badly that he quit volleyball for a while. Sugawara asks Hinata and Kageyama to help Asahi win this time. As the match against Date Tech begins, Nishinoya encourages everyone, saying he'll protect them from the back. With that, the game starts. 3 months ago, Karasuno lost badly to Date Tech. Asahi remembers that match clearly. He used to see the other side of the court without trouble, but Date Tech's iron wall blocks completely shut him down. Now, as he faces them again, he wonders if he'll finally be able to break through. Date Tech's coach Oiwake tells his players that Karasuno's quick attacks only work because Hinata's short height confuses people. He says if they shut down Hinata and Asahi, they'll win. On the other side, Ukai warns Karasuno that Date Tech has strong serves and solid defense. Their goal is to crush their opponent's spirit early. Karasuno starts in a strong receive formation. Right away, Kageyama sets to Hinata. Aon reacts faster than expected and almost blocks him, but Hinata adjusts and lightly hits the ball off Aon's arm to score. They quickly realize Date Tech uses read blocking. Instead of guessing, they wait to see where the set goes before jumping, which makes it hard to trick them. The rallies continue. Kageyama serves and Date Tech attacks, but Nishinoya saves the ball. Asahi tries a back attack, but Aone and Futokuchi block him. Even so, Asahi doesn't lose confidence. The score stays close with Karasuno slightly ahead. Then Kageyama signals for their original quick attack. Earlier, during practice, Ukai had warned them that their quick isn't unbeatable. Smart teams can figure it out, like Nekoma did, so Kageyama must use it wisely. This time, Kageyama uses their usual fast quick. Hinata jumps and Date Tech can't react in time. The speed is too much and Karasuno scores. Date Tech's coaches are surprised and unsure if it was skill or luck. As the match continues, Date Tech notices that Kageyama only uses that special quick with Hinata. They begin focusing all their attention on him. Spectators think that if Hinata is stopped, Karasuno will struggle. But that's exactly Karasuno's plan. The more attention Hinata gets, the more space it creates for others. Date Tech eventually blocks Hinata with a strong read from Aon. His height, strength, and calm thinking make him a serious problem. Still, Karasuno doesn't back down. In the next play, Hinata, Daichi, and Tanaka all rush forward at the same time. Date Tech gets confused about who will attack. Hinata calls for the ball and Aon moves to block him. Hinata swings and drops down, but Asahi appears behind him. Kageyama sets to Asahi, who spikes past the block and finally breaks through the iron wall. As the team celebrates, Hinata looks at his hand. He didn't score, but he still feels proud. Kageyama tells him that being the best decoy is just as important as being the ace. Hinata smiles and accepts his role as the strongest decoy. Tanaka scores again, bringing Karasuno close to match point. Hinata also improves on defense and manages to touch one of Aone's spikes with a block. Even though Karasuno hasn't used their quick attack much lately, Date Tech still puts 2 blockers on Hinata to be safe. Karasuno wins the first set after Date Tech's libero, Sakunami, makes a mistake on receive. The crowd is surprised. Still, everyone knows the second set won't be easy since Aone is starting to adjust to their quick attacks. During the break, Ukai changes the plan. He tells the team they need to take attention away from Hinata so the other players can attack more freely. Asahi says he's ready for that responsibility. As the ace, he should carry the pressure too. Hinata tells Asahi he can't do back attacks like him, but he'll do his best at the net and act as the best decoy. Asahi agrees and says they'll rely on each other. The second set begins. Even though Date Tech lost the first set, they stay confident. Their coach says it doesn't matter who Karasuno puts in front, they will block them. Aone successfully blocks Asahi once, but Hinata's movement still causes problems for their defense. Date Tech calls a timeout to regroup. After the break, Asahi tells Tsukishima that while Hinata draws attention, the rest of them need to strengthen their own attacks too. Asahi reminds himself that as the ace, he has to step up when things get tough. He tries to spike through an opening, but Aon reaches it at the last second and blocks him. Even so, Asahi doesn't lose confidence. He keeps asking for the ball. Soon, Karasuno blocks one of Aon's attacks, and the match stays very close. Hinata's decoy plays continue to create openings, but Date Tech is slowly adapting. Karasuno reaches match point. Hinata is rotated out, leaving Asahi at the front. Asahi wonders what kind of ace he is if he can't get past the block. He gets blocked again, but Nishinoya saves the ball at the last second. On the next play, the toss is too tight to the net, and Aone pushes it back. Just when it seems over, Nishinoya saves it again with his foot. Everyone calls for Asahi to try once more. Even though Date Tech knows the ball is going to him, Kageyama still sets it to Asahi. This time, Asahi hits with full power. The ball touches the top of the net and drops onto Date Tech's side. Karasuno wins the match. After the game, the teams shake hands. Aon offers Hinata a handshake, and they part on friendly terms. Date Tech's captain tells his teammates to aim for nationals next time. Karasuno thanks their supporters, including the girls' team. Ukai and Takeda note that the win helped Asahi regain his confidence. Later, they notice loud cheers in another court. Oikawa from Aoba Johsai is already dominating his first match. He confidently says his team will win Interhigh and Nationals. Karasuno watches, knowing their next challenge will be even harder. Oikawa starts the match with a strong jump serve and scores 4 aces in a row. Karasuno watches closely. Ukai points out that Oikawa's serves are not just powerful, but very accurate. Even though everyone knows he's a great server, they still don't fully understand what kind of setter he is. Ukai compares him to an orchestra conductor. The same players can perform differently depending on who leads them. As they continue watching, Karasuno notices how well Aoba Johsai works together. Kageyama explains that Oikawa and Iwaizumi have played together since they were kids, so they understand each other perfectly. Oikawa also knows his team very well and brings out the best in each player. The older Karasuno players and Kageyama look tense while watching. Hinata and Nishinoya, however, say that Oikawa looks cool and that they want to play against him. Their excitement helps lighten the mood. Aoba Johsai wins the match easily. Back at school, a teacher tells Karasuno that their match was shown on TV. The team gathers to watch. They see that Shiratorizawa crushed their opponent. When their own match is mentioned, Date Tech gets more attention than they do. Then Oikawa appears in an interview and says Karasuno is a good team, but he plans to crush them. The comment motivates Karasuno to practice harder. Ukai holds a meeting to prepare for Aoba Johsai. He says this team is different from Date Tech because they already know Karasuno's style. Still, he believes Karasuno's offense is strong. Their biggest challenge will be Oikawa. The plan is to strengthen their blocking in the middle and improve their receives. If they stay confident, they have a chance. After practice, Kageyama looks more serious than usual. Hinata runs up to him and says they'll beat Oikawa. Kageyama tells him to be quiet but agrees that they will win. At Aoba Johsai, Oikawa is studying footage of Karasuno's matches. The next day, both teams line up for the match. Kageyama remembers watching Oikawa win the Best Setter award in junior high. Now they are facing each other in an official game. Oikawa says he's looking forward to beating the genius setter. Hinata joins Kageyama and says they won't lose. The match begins with Oikawa suddenly attacking instead of setting, catching Karasuno off guard. On the next play, he pretends to spike again but sets to Iwaizumi at the last second, leading to a point. When it's Karasuno's turn, Kageyama surprises everyone by dumping the ball over instead of setting. He tells Oikawa to watch closely because he might do it again. The real battle between the setters has begun. In a flashback, Kageyama remembers when he first joined Kitagawa Daiichi. There was one player everyone admired, Oikawa. Kageyama always thought that if he could surpass Oikawa, he would become the best setter in the prefecture. Back in the present match, Hinata praises him. Kageyama says that Oikawa may be the best overall player in the prefecture, but when it comes to setting, he won't lose. Kageyama's serve goes out of bounds, giving Oikawa the turn. Oikawa's serve curves unexpectedly, but Nishinoya still manages to receive it. Kageyama sets to Hinata, and they score with their quick attack. Oikawa watches carefully, noticing something. Oikawa talks to Kendaichi, encouraging him and telling him to trust him and just jump. On the next play, Kendaichi spikes higher than before and scores. Karasuno tries to respond, but Oikawa starts paying close attention to the signals between Kageyama and Hinata. He realizes that when Hinata yells "bring it," it means the quick attack is coming, and when he says "send it," it's a normal toss. Aoba Johsai calls a timeout to adjust their blocking strategy. Karasuno suspects that Oikawa may have figured out their signals. Nishinoya points out that Aoba Johsai is strong as a whole team, not just because of Oikawa. The match continues with Aoba Johsai targeting Asahi and Tanaka with tough serves. Asahi struggles at first but slowly adjusts. Hinata scores, but Aoba Johsai keeps a lead. When Hinata moves to the back row, Kageyama feels pressure and tries another dump, but it gets blocked. His frustration shows, and his next serve turns weak. Oikawa keeps aiming serves at Tanaka, hoping to break his confidence. Tanaka struggles and gets blocked on a spike. Ukai uses both timeouts to calm the team. During the break, Tanaka admits he got scared but promises not to hold back anymore. When play resumes, Oikawa serves at Tanaka again. Tanaka barely receives it, and after a long rally, he calls for the ball and scores with a strong spike, stopping Oikawa's run. Oikawa admits he can't copy Kageyama's quick attack style, but he believes he can bring out the best in his own teammates. Meanwhile, Kageyama starts rushing his sets, trying to close the point gap. Oikawa remembers Kageyama's old nickname, King of the Court, and thinks that while Kageyama has talent, he still struggles with teamwork. As the pressure builds, Kageyama loses control during a play against Oikawa. The coaches observe that even if Kageyama is talented, Oikawa is currently the better setter. Then Karasuno makes a substitution, and Kageyama is shocked to see Sugawara stepping onto the court. At first, Kageyama feels nervous and remembers when he was benched in junior high. Sugawara quickly tells him not to worry and says they are only changing the rhythm of the game. Kageyama goes to the bench, and Hinata runs up to him. Hinata loudly says that he promised he would be the one to beat Kageyama someday, so Kageyama cannot lose to anyone else before that. Kageyama quietly agrees and says he hasn't lost yet. Kai tells Kageyama to watch the match carefully from the side and use this time to calm down. Kageyama listens and observes Sugawara. Sugawara greets everyone and encourages the team, quickly lifting their mood. Hinata notices how different Sugawara feels compared to Kageyama. Sugawara quietly shares a plan with Tsukishima. When the match resumes, Iwaizumi goes for a spike, but Sugawara and Tsukishima switch positions at the last moment, allowing Tsukishima to block the ball. Later, Hinata returns to the front row. Sugawara gives him a quick tip, and Hinata successfully blocks Matsukawa after adjusting his timing. When Hinata attacks, Aoba Johsai waits for his usual "bring it" signal, but realizes he only uses that with Kageyama. Hinata scores, and Karasuno slowly closes the gap. Sugawara thinks that even if he isn't as naturally talented as Kageyama, he understands his teammates well and knows how to adjust his sets for each player. Karasuno reduces the gap to 6 points, but Oikawa serves again and scores by aiming carefully between players. After a few attempts, Daichi manages to receive the serve. Karasuno tries a back attack with Asahi, but Aoba Johsai reads it and defends well. Hinata blocks Kendaichi using something Sugawara pointed out earlier, but the ball goes out and Aoba Johsai wins the set. During the break, Ukai reminds the team that Oikawa's serves are their biggest problem. He realizes that using Sugawara changed the flow more than expected. On the other side, Aoba Johsai admits they focused too much on Kageyama and forgot that Karasuno has another reliable setter. Kageyama talks with Sugawara about what they noticed during the set. Sugawara says they are competing for the same position, but he also feels reassured knowing Kageyama is there to support the team. In the second set, Sugawara continues adjusting to each player. Enoshita tells Kageyama he should adjust his tosses for everyone, not just Hinata. When Oikawa serves again, Daichi receives it, and Sugawara sets to Tanaka, who scores. Watching this, Kageyama realizes he needs to focus on bringing out the best in all his teammates. Eventually, Ukai switches Kageyama back in. Before leaving, Sugawara gives one last set to Asahi, who scores. As they switch, Sugawara reminds Kageyama that the team is strong. To win, they need Kageyama to help everyone, especially Hinata, perform at their best. Kageyama returns to the court and faces his teammates. He remembers how Sugawara interacts with them and copies his calm smile to put everyone at ease. It has the opposite effect, startling his teammates, but Daichi understands Kageyama's true intention. Kageyama then turns to Hinata and confidently says they will win. On the sidelines, Sugawara sighs, admitting he was nervous during the match. He hasn't played much since last year, while Kageyama has been on the court more. Tsukishima notes that despite this, Kageyama still looks more anxious than Sugawara. Back on the court, Kageyama prepares to serve. His teammates notice that he seems happy, and Sugawara says seeing him act normal helps him feel at ease. Kageyama serves at Watari and scores, even giving Tanaka a high five, surprising Kendaichi and Kunimi. His next serve is blocked, but Hinata and Kageyama prepare to attack. Instead of using their usual quick strike signals, Hinata follows Sugawara's new signals and scores while the opponents are caught off guard. Kageyama tries to compliment Hinata but sounds stiff. Aoba Johsai doesn't seem fazed by Kageyama's return. Irihata notes that Kageyama has regained momentum and now shows more awareness of his teammates. With Sugawara's signals, Kageyama and Hinata become very effective. Tsukishima is switched in, and Aoba Johsai calls a timeout. Oikawa notes that Kageyama and Tsukishima don't work well together. Sugawara advises Kageyama to communicate with Tsukishima. Kageyama asks Tsukishima what kind of toss he wants. Tsukishima initially insults him but then asks for consistent tosses. Kageyama calmly agrees, and their teamwork improves. Tsukishima scores after a feint confuses the opponent. Karasuno reaches 24 points, and it's Oikawa's turn to serve. A flashback shows Oikawa's past. He was the best setter in junior high, but Kageyama joined Kitagawa Daichi and threatened his position. Oikawa became jealous and worked harder, but he also became hostile toward Kageyama. By the end of junior high, Oikawa and Iwaizumi finished second to Shiratorizawa, and Oikawa promised to beat Kageyama in the future. In the present, Oikawa serves powerfully, but Kageyama anticipates the toss to Iwaizumi. He and Tsukishima block the ace, winning the set for Karasuno. Oikawa isn't worried about losing. He knows Kageyama read his play and guesses Sugawara may have helped. He's excited and determined to win the final set. Hinata gets ready for the final set, thinking that if they lose here, it's over. He remembers all the opponents he's faced so far and is determined not to give up. He goes up to spike, and Kendaichi prepares to block him. Kendaichi recalls the new signals Karasuno uses and tries to read a pattern. He jumps and almost blocks Hinata, catching him off guard. The ball goes to Aoba Johsai and Oikawa receives it. Watari tosses it back to Oikawa, who spikes and scores. Ukai notices Watari might have been a setter before becoming a libero. Aoba Johsai pulls ahead after a series of attacks, and Karasuno starts to get nervous. Ukai observes that while Karasuno relies on individual power, Aoba Johsai plays as a well-coordinated team, showing the difference between the two. Karasuno keeps up with feints and tactics based on their strengths, and Oikawa watches carefully as Hinata is subbed back in. With Hinata on the court, Karasuno has a chance to regain momentum. Hinata and Kageyama perform a broad cross, and Hinata scores before Aoba Johsai can react. Oikawa starts to worry, knowing they need to stop Hinata, but he also has to watch Karasuno's other players. Hinata yells for the ball and runs across the court, thinking that no matter how tired he is, he has to keep moving. As two blockers approach, Kageyama quickly tosses the ball to Asahi, who spikes straight through and scores. Kageyama realizes this was the perfect timing for a pipe, but it also shows Hinata's value as a decoy. A timeout is called. Yamaguchi watches his teammates, impressed that the rallies are longer than before, while also feeling a bit envious. At Aoba Johsai, Irihata tells his team to stop the broad attack. When play resumes, Hinata goes for a broad jump, but only the libero faces him. This gives Watari the perfect angle to receive, stopping the attack. Karasuno hesitates and Oikawa takes advantage with a dump. Oikawa then serves again, causing mistakes from Karasuno. Hinata tries to spike but gets blocked and Aoba Johsai takes a 3-point lead. Ukai calls a timeout, thinking of a way to change the momentum, and looks towards Shimada in the bleachers. Yamaguchi is subbed in. Nervous and overwhelmed, he serves, but it hits the net. He's switched out, apologizing, but Daichi encourages him to try harder next time. Karasuno's mood lifts, and Tanaka spikes off the libero to score. The team regains confidence and energy, keeping pace with Aoba Johsai. Both teams show fatigue, but Karasuno pushes forward. Aoba Johsai reaches set point, and Karasuno worries. Nishinoya motivates the team to keep focused. Tanaka goes up to serve carefully, and the ball is returned. Kageyama runs, grabs the ball from Oikawa, tosses it to Hinata with one hand, and Hinata spikes it to score, keeping Karasuno in the match. Karasuno and Aoba Johsai are now tied at 24, pushing the match into deuce. The first team to get a 2-point lead will win. Kageyama notices something from earlier, Kunami's improved receiving, and remembers yelling at him in the past for not chasing the ball. Hinata interrupts, yelling that he'll do as many broads as he can no matter what. The game continues, and neither team gives in. Hinata slips slightly on a jump, but still scores off a feint. Both teams are showing signs of fatigue, but they keep pushing. Oikawa serves, remembering his past losses against Shiratorizawa and promising himself to focus on the match. He spikes the ball and it flies past Nishinoya, going out. Iwaizumi quickly scores a point for Aoba Johsai, impressing his teammates. The match continues point by point, surpassing 30 points with both teams exhausted. Oikawa prepares to serve again, and Iwaizumi tells him to focus only on the current play, not on revenge. Smiling confidently, Oikawa serves and Daichi clumsily receives it. Oikawa then sets up Kunimi, who scores with a feint, surprising Kageyama, who realizes Kunimi still has energy and skill left even after exhaustion. Kageyama compares Kunimi's teamwork to Oikawa's ability to bring the team together and feels unsure about how to compete. Hinata teases him, while Sugawara encourages him to stop hesitating and trust his team. Kageyama regains his focus, letting go of past regrets from junior high. Oikawa serves again, softly this time. Daichi barely receives it, leaving Kageyama out of position. The ball reaches Kendaichi, who gets it over, but Nishinoya saves it. Kageyama times a toss perfectly to Hinata, who spikes with all his strength but is blocked. The ball ricochets and lands on Aoba Johsai's side, giving them the win. Hinata and Kageyama lie on the floor, exhausted. Hinata tries to apologize, but Daichi stops him, saying he didn't make a mistake. Iwaizumi wonders how Oikawa knew Kageyama would toss to Hinata, and Oikawa says it was obvious. Kageyama trusts his strongest weapon. The teams line up, shake hands, and head outside. Hinata tackles Kageyama playfully, saying tossing to him wasn't a mistake. Takeda encourages them, reminding them that losing doesn't make them weak. They only fail if they don't get back up. Before heading home, Ukai takes the team to a restaurant. He tells them that the matches are physically demanding, so they need to eat to recover and get stronger. The team starts eating, relieved, exhausted, and emotional, reflecting on the effort they put in. Hinata keeps remembering all the matches he's played, both the ones he won and the one he lost. Back in school, the team struggles to focus in class, their thoughts still on the Interhigh matches. Meanwhile, Aoba Johsai and Shiratorizawa are facing each other in the finals. At lunchtime, Hinata runs to the gym instead of eating. In another area, Tanaka talks with the second years, saying that Daichi wants the team to aim for nationals. They can't keep dwelling on a match they just lost. In the faculty room, Daichi talks to Asahi and Sugawara, saying he's thinking about retiring. He thought the first and second years could handle the team, and he could leave a little earlier. Sugawara asks if that's really what he wants. After thinking it over, Daichi admits loudly that he wants to stay and continue leading the team. Outside the gym, Hinata tosses a ball back and forth, going over all the mistakes he made during the matches. Kageyama thinks about Oikawa and how differently they play as setters. In class, Yamaguchi looks at his uniform and recalls an earlier encounter with Shimada. Shimada had asked if he enjoyed cheering for the team, and Yamaguchi had said no. He realizes that just supporting from the sidelines isn't enough anymore. He wants to play and contribute. Volleyball has taken on a deeper meaning for him now. In the faculty room, Takeda talks with a teacher who explains the third year's intentions about staying on the team. He asks Takeda to guide them, reminding them to consider their futures carefully. Elsewhere, Ukai talks with Takanoe and says he canceled practice so the team can recover. Takanoe notes that Aoba Johsai was a strong team, and even though Karasuno lost, they never gave up. At the same time, Aoba Johsai loses to Shiratorizawa in the finals of Interhigh. Back at the gym, Hinata sees Kageyama already practicing and joins him. Takeda calls the third years into his office and tells them they need to think about their future, warning them not to make decisions they'll regret. Meanwhile, Hinata asks Kageyama if the finals are happening now. Kageyama confirms it, and frustrated, Hinata climbs to the top balcony, yelling. Kageyama joins him until they're both exhausted. Hinata says he wants to win, and Kageyama replies that he won't apologize anymore for his tosses. They have to keep moving forward. Kyoko and the second years enter the gym, greeting everyone. Yamaguchi and Tsukishima arrive as well. Tanaka and Nishinoya note that they're still waiting on the third years, and Hinata worries that they might retire. But then the third years arrive, and Kyoko smiles at the underclassmen, announcing that they're staying. Sugawara says they'll all go to nationals together. Ukai arrives, surprised to see everyone despite practice being canceled, and the team surrounds him, asking him to keep coaching them. Karasuno holds a team meeting. Ukai says they lost only because of the difference in strength, and one defeat shouldn't hold them back. Daichi speaks and announces that their goal is to go to nationals in Tokyo. Practice begins, and Hinata looks at the tall wall in front of him. On his own, he could never see over it, but now, with his team, he can reach for the top and see the view beyond. This is where the first season of Haikyuu ends. Like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments if you want us to cover the next seasons. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.